Hello and welcome to Screen Rant, Star Wars fans. Now, regardless of how you might feel about The Rise of Skywalker, it is making a ton of money, and by most measurements, it is a massive success at the box office. Now, as of January 6th, just 17 days after its release, it's made over $450 million domestically and another nearly $470 million worldwide. That's nearly $920 million in just over 2 weeks, so it's pretty clear it's going to be profitable. But because we're nerds and we can't help thinking about these things, we're wondering just how its box office compares to the numbers generated by The Last Jedi 2 years ago. And given that the prior Star Wars trilogies both had their third films bring in more than their second films did, all eyes have been on The Rise of Skywalker to see if it'll beat The Last Jedi. So far, The Rise of Skywalker's had a bit of a bumpy ride, but it did make up some ground over the extended holiday. So, I'm Greg Elliott, and now let's take a more in-depth look on how The Rise of Skywalker's box office compares to The Last Jedi. There's no way to sugarcoat this. The Rise of Skywalker had a significantly lower opening weekend than The Last Jedi or The Force Awakens, with a $177 million debut, which is only a little better than Rogue One did. For comparison's sake, it brought in just under 20% less than The Last Jedi. Granted, The Rise of Skywalker did open slightly closer to Christmas than the last two films, so maybe people were busy with holiday celebrations or something like that, but The Force Awakens opened just 2 days before it did, and it blew it out of the water. So, if there was hope for The Rise of Skywalker, it wasn't going to be from its opening weekend, but in the weekdays to come. So one advantage The Rise of Skywalker had opening the week before Christmas is that it could immediately take advantage of people being off school or work for the holiday. The Last Jedi, released on December 15th, had to wait for the holidays to take effect though, whereas The Rise of Skywalker got a boost from people on vacation right away. Looking over Box Office Mojo's chart, comparing the individual daily grosses of the recent Star Wars films, and no, I don't know why the sequel trilogy is out of order, you can see that The Rise of Skywalker brought in more money on its 4th through 7th days of release compared to The Last Jedi. So after that first week, The Rise of Skywalker was only about 2% behind The Last Jedi, but unlike The Rise of Skywalker getting its holiday boost early on, this is when the holidays hit during The Last Jedi's run and when things really took off. Look at day 11 here, that's Christmas Day back in 2017, and The Last Jedi cleaned up big time, $27.4 million. The Rise of Skywalker only made $15.3 on its 11th day by comparison. And at the time of this video, 17 days after its release, The Rise of Skywalker is now about 15% behind The Last Jedi. Not good. Considering all that, it's pretty doubtful that The Rise of Skywalker has enough left in the tank to beat The Last Jedi. It knows what it has to do, but I don't know if it has the strength to do it. So where does it end up? Our guess is somewhere in Rogue One territory, around the $530 million mark, maybe slightly over. And if it somehow holds up well enough through January, it could just maybe beat The Lion King, which would make it the second biggest movie of 2019 in the US. And there you have it. Do you think the Force is strong enough to get it there? Well, let us know in the comments and keep coming back to Screen Rant for more Star Wars news and info. I'm Greg Elliott, and I'm out. Peace.